Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. This is our sweet treat cook-off, so to speak, and we are cooking apple and raspberry muffins. Now, the good thing about muffins is they're literally a one bowl mix. So once you've got all your ingredients ready, everything's in one bowl, and they're so easy to make and they taste good. So this is what we need. This will give us 12 muffins. So apart from these ingredients, oven on 180 or 160 for fan forced. You will need a mixing bowl. You don't need a mixer, just a mixing bowl and a handy pink spatula or something to mix everything in. Come on in and I'll talk you through these ingredients. Okay, so first up, you are also going to need a muffin pan and 12 little paper cases. You can do it without the paper cases, but I just find the paper cases so much easier because it's easier on the washing up. So that is why that is my first ingredient. There you go. I read my recipe. 1 1/3 cups of self-raising flour. You don't need to sift that. 1/3 of a cup of rolled oats. They're not the quick ones, the regular rolled oats. 1/2 cup of brown sugar. 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I haven't measured that out yet, but that's easy enough. 2 grated apples. You don't need to peel them, but just grate them. And try and not leave them for too long because they do go brown. Doesn't matter whether you get a bit of peel in, but don't go overboard with the peel. Like whatever's on the top of the grater generally should be the peel. That's just a little hint. 2 eggs, which we're just going to crack into the cup before we put into the bowl. 1 cup of natural yogurt. That's the Greek yogurt. 1/2 cup of frozen raspberries. They are still frozen, unfortunately. And 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Now, vegetable oil or equivalent in a cake makes it stay moist, which is really good because if they don't all get eaten within like the first couple of days, they will keep a lot longer. They don't dry out, which is very good. Okay, so we're going to hop straight into it. So as I said, literally it's a one bowl mix. You will need a bowl to put some extra rolled oats into, but when we get to that step, I will talk you through that one. All right, so into said bowl. First up, we're going to add our self-raising flour. Reserve 3 tablespoons of the rolled oats, which to me literally feels like we're using all of them. I feel like I should just take 1 tablespoon out and just put the rest in. Probably right. Okay, so in goes that. Just double checking that is 1/3 of a cup. You know how you doubt yourself sometimes? All right, so that is to sprinkle on the top, just so you know. Okay. We also need 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay. So what I would do is I would just get your handy pink spatula or equivalent and just give that a bit of a stir through. Okay, next up we want to add the 2 eggs. So make yourself a bit of a well. A well is where you push all the dry ingredients to the outside, leaving a hole in the middle, like a well. So I like to crack eggs 1 at a time into a cup. That way, if there's any nasties or shell, I can try and rescue them before they end up in the muffin or whatever. So that looks all good. In goes 1. And in goes 2. Bit of a shortage on eggs at the moment. Sometimes you go in the supermarket, you can buy them. Sometimes you go in there and you can't. And I got a bit of shell in here, so this is why I say this. Okay, so flick that piece out. Beautiful. All right. Okay, second egg in. All right, what else is going in here? Stir in the 2 grated apples. Don't worry that they've gone brown. They are being cooked anyway. Try not to get the juice in there. I mean, if you do, you do. It doesn't really matter. Now I'm just going to stir this through before I get anything else in there, just because of the fact that the apples have gone the colour that they've gone. We'll add our yogurt next. So make another well. In goes our yogurt. It says to use natural yogurt. Most of the times I just buy Greek yogurt. I think it's pretty much the same thing. Just nothing with a flavour to it, that's all, if that helps. Okay, our frozen raspberries, which unfortunately are still frozen. If you can get them out of the freezer early, then do so. And our last ingredient is our vegetable oil. Okay, now just mix that all around. Mixy, mixy. So it should be looking something like that. Just make sure that you can't see any oil that's not mixed in, because you won't have any flour pockets by now. That's the beauty of mixing it as you go. And don't over mix them, because apparently it can make them a little bit blur. Well, not blur, but you know, not really, a bit more chewier. They just always say to not over mix. Okay, grab yourself a large spoon and quite simply divide it between the paper cases. This is the messy part. Sometimes it's easier to pick them up, sometimes it's easier to just go straight over. See, because I've already made a mess there. So I'm going to have to wipe that before I put it in the oven. Otherwise I'm going to have a nice big cake crumb. So you want about a spoon in each one. Put a bit more in that one. Good with a spoon today, aren't I? These are going to cook for 20 to 25 minutes, or until when you put a skewer in the middle. I use a toothpick. It comes out clean. So that means that you get you don't get any moisture on it, like any mixture. To you that are just starting out and thought, oh, muffins are a good way to start out if you're looking for an easy sweet treat. So are like no-bake slices, which basically just involve heating and putting in things, like melting. That was the word I was looking for, melting. So I've got quite a few sweet treats in the little collection now, so depending on if you've got a sweet or a savoury tooth. You can go back through the collection. All right. I'm just going to share the rest of this out. Just remove handy pink spatula. Okay. Just a little bit more. And as I said, because I've made a little bit of a dollop on everywhere, just going to have to grab a tissue. And just wipe the excess off the sides because that will otherwise cook. And it will make for a little bit of a mess to clean up later. Haven't done a very good job there. There we go, that's fine. All right, so with those 3 tablespoons of rolled oats that we saved earlier, just grab yourself a teaspoon and you just want to do a light sprinkling on top. So technically you've got that little bit of a crunch of them in the muffin, but you're getting more of it on the top. And at least this way everyone does get a little bit of a rolled oat on the top. They look really good. All right, I will see you when these are done. So I gave them an extra 5 minutes because sometimes with my oven, it literally does whatever it wants to do. And when I stuck a toothpick in them, no mixture came off on them, so they're fine. So let them cool in this pan for a little while and then put them out onto your wire rack and let them cool completely before you either put them in a container or under a cake dome, because you want them to cool down. If you want to eat them warm, then great, they will taste great if they're warm. All right, thank you for watching this episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. This has been apple and raspberry muffins. I'll catch you on the next adventure.